All right, guys, I hope you're ready for this video. This is the complete guide to losing that baby weight fast using a whole food plant-based diet. So this is not an excessive exercise program. This is a passive, nutritious plan that will leave you not only at your pre-baby weight, but sustainably. So you don't ever have to encounter this problem again. So I'm Carly. For anybody who's new here, I help new mamas get back to their pre-baby weight and nourish their family in the meantime. So stay tuned because I have 5 major areas that you're gonna wanna focus on when losing this weight. The first thing I'm gonna wanna bring to your attention is the use of calorie density. So research has shown that we actually take in a generally similar amount of food per day, regardless of the calories they contain. So what exactly does this mean? The average person takes in 3 to 5 pounds of food per day. So that means you can either eat 5 pounds of hamburgers or 5 pounds of broccoli. It's that simple. Which foods hold the highest amount of volume but the lowest amount of calories? Whole plant foods, particularly non-starchy veggies and fruits. So these are going to be things like cucumber, bell peppers, celery, melons, pomegranates, grapes, berries. What I find to be super helpful is this chart that shows from point A to point B the lowest amount of calorie density to the highest amount of calorie density, going from non-starchy veggies all the way to oils. So as you can see, as long as you stick to those whole plant foods, aside from avocados, nuts, and seeds, it's literally impossible not to lose this weight. So again, stick to those non-starchy veggies, fruits, starchy vegetables, whole grains, and legumes, and this weight will come off in no time. So another way I found it helpful to look at this is to focus on high nutrient containing foods. So these are again going to be those nuts, seeds, legumes, whole grains, fruits, and veggies. And you can throw in the herbs and spices. I tend to include those in this diet. Animal and processed food tend to have the highest amount of calories and the least amount of nutrition. So your best bet is going to stay as close to that whole food plant-based regimen as possible. The more processed foods you start adding into your diet and the more animal products you start adding into your diet, the further you're going to move along that spectrum to the higher calorie, lower nutrient density types of foods. So just something to keep in mind. If you want more specifics on the foods to include and the foods to avoid in this diet, make sure you check out this video above. So the second thing you're going to want to incorporate is eating more raw fruits and veggies. Why is this important? The less you process a food, and cooking is processing. So the less you cook or alter a food from its original form, the higher you're going to increase the calorie content. So when you cook something, let's say, you are reducing the water content by means of evaporation. So the more water you remove from that food, the higher the concentration of the calories is going to be increased. The same thing goes for like dehydrating to make dried fruit or eating literally any processed convenience foods. Anything with a long shelf life should put up a red flag in your mind, except nuts and seeds. Those tend to store for a bit longer. These raw foods are also more difficult to eat, so you're literally utilizing more calories to take in the calories. On top of that, the fiber and the cell walls are going to be more intact when they're less processed. So what that fiber does is it clenches on to those calories and doesn't allow your body to absorb as many as it would had it been pulverized and processed into something unrecognizable as food, in my opinion. So again, any of those processed convenience foods that tend to be found in the center of the supermarket. So some examples that you can use in your day-to-day routine are things like cut up fruits and veggies you can just grab for a quick snack. Those can be your convenience items. You just have to be able to prepare them ahead of time. And I know that's difficult with a newborn. It can be done when you make it a priority. Salads are an obvious way to get in a ton of raw fruits and veggies. You should definitely be including at least 1 salad in your diet every day. You can also include raw fruit in your oatmeal or cereals, or you can make smoothies with raw ingredients. But just keep in mind that when you do put those foods in the blender and grind them up, they are going to be much more calorie dense because you're liberating those calories from those cell walls and you're making it 10 times easier for your body to take those calories in and absorb them. If you're finding value in this guide, make sure you subscribe to this channel because I dedicate each topic to assisting women in their weight loss endeavors. But I don't do it with gimmicks or potions or empty promises. I do it in a natural, healthy manner that does not include any extreme actions. You're simply taking in foods that are natural for your biology with a little tips here along the way. So those are the things you can expect when you subscribe to my channel. The third thing you want to incorporate in your daily routine is prepping your meals and your snacks. Again, this is ridiculously complicated when it comes to having a newborn in the picture, but it can be done with a few simple tips. Things like batch cooking. Whenever you make a meal, make at least 3 extra portions so you can store them, you can freeze them, or keep them in the refrigerator for the following days. So you're expending the same amount of energy cooking 3 times the amount of food. In the months following the birth of my child, I would consistently wear her on my chest in one of those baby wraps. I know you shouldn't do this while you're cooking, but I did. I was just very careful. She just slept the whole time. It was very sweet. Even the fussiest baby, I feel, really enjoys being snuggled up next to mom. Try a baby carrier if you haven't tried one, because that was the only way my daughter let me do anything with my hands for the first 3 months or so. You can also sit down with your partner and discuss different ways that he can assist you in watching the baby for a short while you prep and take care of the meals. Put it in your planners if you need to. Just make sure that time is dedicated to providing the nutrition that you and your family need more now than ever. You can also ask for help from family and friends. People are so excited to be taking care of a brand new baby while you go and take care of yourself. So just always keep that in mind and don't be afraid to ask for help. Another great tip is to buy pre-washed fruits and veggies or pre-chopped up fruits and veggies. You can even buy frozen fruit and vegetable medleys. So like you can buy bags of different kinds of berries that you can throw into a smoothie quick or throw into your oatmeal in the morning. Or you can buy cut up veggies that are in a specific like stir fry medley that you can just throw into a pan with some curry and some rice, and there's your stir fry. Pre-washed salad mixes are my favorite go-to. You don't have to expend the energy or take the time washing every little leaf. You can just open it up and put it into a salad. You can also shop for groceries online or have them delivered. Things like Imperfect Foods, Thrive Market, Misfits Market. They're becoming more and more popular these days thanks to COVID. So you have lots of variety when it comes to having people deliver your groceries right to your door. The 4th thing you want to do to lose that baby weight is to include starches in every meal. So this is going to be things like potatoes. I know, the dreaded potato, sweet potatoes, rice, quinoa, amaranth, buckwheat, wheat, rye, barley, squashes are a great option. All these things are going to be fantastic when it comes to weight loss because starches not only keep you feeling satisfied, but they have a ton of those resistant starches that are going to do all sorts of good things to your body to assist in this weight loss. So things like feeding your microbiome. Those little bugs have a lot more to do with your weight than you think. So by feeding them with these probiotics, you're going to allow them to send the proper signals to your brain, telling your body that you've had enough to eat and you have sufficient nutrients. These microbiota are also going to determine what kinds of things you crave. So if you're eating a lot of processed or animal foods or high calorie foods, this is going to be in the forefront of your brain the majority of the day. But if you're eating more low calorie, high nutrient plant foods, you're going to have a much more calm, quiet mind without cravings. Cravings are always a big downfall for a lot of diets, so make sure that you keep that in mind when you're choosing your food items at the grocery store. So again, this can be really simple with batch cooking. I just make a huge pot full in my pressure cooker of like a grain and legume mix. You can do a large slow cooker pot of oatmeal every week. This usually feeds my family each and every day of the week. And then I always have some cooked sweet potatoes and squashes on hand that I can just grab and eat. Beans are another one that you're gonna wanna batch cook. You should always have a supply of beans in your fridge and some stored away in your freezer. Or you can use canned beans, either way. I just prefer the dried ones because there's no processing involved. They're so much more delicious. If you haven't made your own beans, make sure you try that. It's so much easier these days with a pressure cooker. You just toss them in, an hour later you have a huge vat of beans instead of cooking them over the stove for 8 to 12 hours a day. You still want to soak them though, that's important. It makes them nice and bulky. So the last thing I want to talk about is always the most challenging for people because they cannot fathom removing meat and processed foods from their diet. But I assure you, it is not only super, I don't want to say easy, but it's simple. It's super simple and it's so beneficial. When you keep yourself educated and in the know when it comes to what these foods are doing or not doing to your body, it feels like a no-brainer. The more you can associate those foods with illness and weight gain, the more it becomes apparent what you should and should not be putting into your body. What I'm talking about more specifically is following a more plant-exclusive diet, as opposed to this continuum where some people kind of baby step their way to whole food plant-based from like a predominant processed and animal food diet. You can take either strategy, but just know that the quicker you move from here to here, the quicker you're gonna lose that weight and regain your health and heal from this pregnancy. Lots of people will fall into that trap on their way towards a whole food plant-based diet where they're eating things like Impossible burgers and vegan chicken and cheese and cookies and cakes. You can get vegan anything these days. Just because it says vegan does not mean it's healthy. So if you are able to bypass that common stepping stone and just head right to the whole foods, you're going to see those results so much faster. And you're going to be 10 times more likely to stay on this healthy path because of those benefits that you're going to see so quickly. When you do this in small, staggering steps, you're going to get results eventually, but they're going to take much more time and they're going to be much more minimal as opposed to the more drastic change. The more drastic of a change you make, the more drastic results you're going to see. I cannot emphasize a 100% commitment to this diet enough. It is so crucial to reaching that pre-baby weight. And not only reaching that weight, but sustaining that weight. Nobody cares about getting back to a specific weight for a temporary amount of time. I'm referring to getting back to your original self, your original healthy self, flawlessly and with minimal effort, even with that brand new baby. So I have a little bonus tip, and that is to include this whole food plant-based diet with intermittent fasting and a little bit of exercise. So I will link a video to that information here, but I just wanted to throw that at you as an extra tool to keep in your toolbox. Again, make sure you subscribe to this channel if you found this information helpful. I dedicate all my videos to helping people convert to a more plant-exclusive diet to allow them to reach their weight loss goals. So like I said, no gimmicks, no potions, just a real deal. All right, I'll see you in the next one.